Great.
Awesome.
Very good.
Oh, wonderful.
I am excited, super excited about this organization that's coming in. I'm a big believer that 2022, God has been blessing the TKO organization and just aligning things up in such a marvelous way. Believe it or not, I was actually referred to this organization, and I was so very grateful that I am, to be honest with you, because you all are shaking things up, to be honest with you. You're shaking things up, and I love it, by the way. I love it because sometimes in business, especially in the world of sales, people tend to get complacent when they sit in that number one, number two seat. So when new players come in, it's always good to kind of shake things up and raise the bar, so to speak. So for those of you that don't know, my name is Tony Martinez. I'm the owner and founder of TKO Financial Network. Today, we're going to probably be doing a little bit of unlearning, right? I hear a lot of you all come from what some of us call captive, what do you call it? A practice company, right? A captive environment. And so there is a level of unlearning that you need to do when it comes to understanding what it is to be fully independent, in control of your own business. You know, when you come from a captive environment, you're almost always kind of like holding your hands up in the air like this, and you're saying, okay, can I touch this? No, I can't. Okay, I won't. Can I touch this? Oh, no, I can't. No, I won't. And so when you go to the independent space, you're like, wait a minute, I can touch whatever I want. I can do whatever I want, you know? And then in the same token, right, I'll play devil's advocate. You know, there's a lot of risks when you go to the independent space that I believe TKO has reduced greatly. And a lot of that risk really just happens to be, what is it like when you go independent and you don't have a back office resource center? What is it like when you go independent and you've got to build your entire system? I'm used to coming from a world where there was an 800 number, so to speak, that I could call that would give me access to different departments, different structures and such. And now I got to kind of build it. And TKO has, realistically speaking, taken a good 9 months before we went out and publicly to build an infrastructure and a back office, because I always envisioned a massive operation in the independent space. But I knew in order to do that, we needed to make sure that we had the systems in place. So we're going to be doing a new associate orientation today. I want to give you a little background on me first, so you understand where my mindset is and, you know, where I came from and why I built TKO to be what it is. Okay. I've got 18 years in the industry. I come from a company called Northwestern Mutual. Anybody familiar with Northwestern Mutual or the name? Yes, no, maybe? No? Northwestern Mutual Finance. Yeah, I see a couple nods.
Yes. Yes.
So Northwestern Mutual slogan is the quiet company. So I wasn't expecting a lot of people to know who they are. They're a career agency model, a boutique wealth management advisory firm. Forbes magazine for the last 15 years running has ranked Northwestern Mutual as one of the best training programs in the industry. They're a powerhouse, and I have a whole lot of what's the word I'm looking for? A whole lot of respect for them, because they taught me. And if you all don't mind, I'm going to mute a couple of you all because I hear a little bit of feedback in the back. There we go. All right, good.
Tony, I can help you with that if you like, if you want to make me the co-host.
Yeah, that'd be a great idea, actually. I forget about that sometimes, but yes, there you go. Cool. And so they taught me a lot about what it was to produce. Northwestern Mutual is not a recruiting model. Northwestern Mutual is not a leads generation model. I was with them back in 2008 up until about 2013. So you can imagine during that time space how little there was to do with lead generation or social media or anything like that. So they weren't recruiting, they weren't buying leads. It was a captive organization. We had 2 products to sell. It was a whole life product in a 20-year term, and we had to learn how to survive on that. And believe it or not, I was fortunate enough that I had some really good trainers and mentors that taught me how to write $200,000 a year of income on my pen. And so I learned how to produce there. I learned how to survive in this industry without recruiting a single person, without buying a single lead, just through, you know, understanding the products and service and doing what I like to call value selling, building relationships with clients, learning how to cross-sell, learning how to capitalize from your book of business. Because statistically speaking, if you do it right, you're going to sell your clients 4 to 7 more times throughout their history with you. If you do them right the first time, and if you have a system of being able to go back to your clientele and have annual reviews, have birthday lunches with them, you know, explain to them how term insurance can massively benefit from a conversion standpoint. There's a lot of methods for that. And so that's where I really learned that world. Now, I'll give massive, massive credit to Practice Company, right, where we all came from. They taught me how to build. No lie. In between Northwestern and PHP, I was at World Financial Group for a period of about 1.5 years. And I'm going to tell you right now, I learned absolutely nothing at World Financial Group. Not that WFG doesn't have something to offer, but the uplines that I was at, the hierarchy that I was at, and really where the company was, the top level leaders that were so big that they just didn't have time for some of the newer guys. So I learned nothing from them until I got to PHP. PHP taught me how to build 100%. I was with them for almost 5 years. I was with them when they had 2,500 associates in the company, when their valuetainment had only 75,000 subscribers. We were only in 20 some odd states. There wasn't a $500,000 earner. There was nobody recruiting 100 a month. I mean, I was with them during that phase. I remember turning in business via email PDF. I mean, it was just that grassroots. And so I learned how to build there. I really genuinely did. Now, you might ask yourself, well, what happened, right? What changed? What changed is that, you know, and again, this is not a jab on them. It's just that my perspective of this industry and what I wanted to do and their perspective of this industry and what they wanted to do, we became out of alignment. That's what happened. We became out of alignment. I think like a builder, and I am a builder, but I'm also one of those people that believe that people need to learn how to bake bread before they can run a bakery. And so, you know, we can preach the message of being a builder, being a builder, being a builder. But if I'm not showing these people how to support themselves financially and how to duplicate and train others, and the only thing I'm teaching them to do is to edify the uplines income, I'm never putting them in a position of success. And so I became out of alignment with them. I became out of alignment with that concept. And during COVID, another blessing occurred to me, and that blessing was virtual business. A year prior to COVID, I was already running a virtual operation. PHP was not a big fan of that. They wanted the in-house BOM, touch you, feel you, you know, face-to-face environment. And I always said to myself, this license lets me stretch out to so many states. Why am I going to limit myself to just this when technology is an ingredient for speed in business? So when COVID hit, it was perfect for me. I was already ready to go running independently. Cash flow at that time I was somewhere in the top 3, top 5 in the entire MSM operation. And it was 100% because of my ability to produce. But again, I was out of alignment. But tell me if you all agree with me or not. It's hard to recruit into something that you somewhat lose faith in. It's hard to recruit into something that you don't believe in any longer. You almost feel like, I don't want to bring them here. I feel like I'm going to kind of hustle them if I bring them here because it's not in alignment with what I want to teach. And so I stopped. I just stopped building and just put my head down and produced. And I was still one of the top 3 to top 5 cash flow earners in the company. And then something amazing happened. I was blessed. I was in prayer, really trying to figure out, God, what do you want me to do? I don't feel right here. I want to find another solution. I want to find another. I know there's something else out there. And you know what they say, right? When you ask, you shall receive, right? I received. He answered. He put me in a position to have dinner with an amazing woman, a woman that on the 29th of this month, if you're coming to Closers College, you'll get a chance to meet her. Her name is Mary Ann Lacey. She runs one of the largest IMOs, privately owned IMOs in the United States. It's not publicly traded, still very private. Still, and I love her model because it's very similar to Northwestern Mutual. They're very quiet. They're very silent in what they do. They're not very bougie and loud and exposed on social media or anything like that. And it just so happened that she ran into my YouTube channel and she was watching some of my videos and she got interested in learning more about who I was. And again, the stars just aligned. God was just speaking. He was moving things in the right direction because one of her very good friends happens to be one of my good friends. And they were having conversation and he's the one that created the introduction. He says, man, I know him. That's Tony Martinez. I know who he is. And she says, really? Well, listen, I'm moving to Florida. Coincidentally, I live in Florida. I'm moving to Fort Myers. Coincidentally, that's only 20 minutes away from where I live. She says, I want to meet this guy. I want to have dinner with him. So when I go to have dinner with this lady, I have no idea why I'm there. I'm thinking a good friend of mine. He wants me to meet her. It's maybe because it's a potential client, and maybe he's just kind of matching up the relationship, introducing us. But in conversation, I see that her dialogue, right, is very industry. And I'm like, wait a minute, she knows this industry. She's a player in this industry. She's using some big words there. She finally kind of looks at me and says, Tony, you're trying to figure out why you're here. And I said, ma'am, with all due respect, I am. What am I here for? And she says, well, do you understand the corporate structure of an insurance company? I said, you know, I do, but I'm always willing to learn. Enlighten me. And she says, okay, at the top of the food chain are what? Insurance companies, right? Those are the American Nationals, National Life Group, right? That's the Alliances, Prudential, the big dogs. Below that are what's called IMOs. Some organization called them NMOs, right? National Marketing Organization, or IMOs, Insurance Marketing Organization. They are connected to the insurance companies, and their job is to produce FMOs, Field Marketing Organizations. What is an FMO? An FMO is responsible for what? For the field, for the training, the recruiting, and the development of the field agents. And so that's the hierarchy structure. I said, ma'am, I am familiar with that. She says, well, I happen to run a very large IMO, and I'm in a very good position right now where I'm looking to develop another FMO, and I'd be interested to see if you'd be interested in running your own FMO. Now think about that, right? As an insurance agent, that's like Mount Everest for most insurance agents. That's like the dream that everyone aspires to have. And I said to her, ma'am, I would love that opportunity, but I also know what it costs to do that. You typically need $250,000. You got to give that to an IMO in order for them to approve advanced commissions in the life insurance space, because let's face it, we're talking about a lot of advances. And so that $250,000 becomes kind of like the security blanket for an IMO to bring on board a brand new FMO like myself. And she says, you're right. But again, I own the company, so let's talk about it. We spoke for about 3 months, negotiated back and forth, what I wanted, how I wanted to run it, this, that, and the other. Certain things she agreed with, certain things she didn't. And lo and behold, we were given this opportunity. So what exactly is TKO Financial Network? We are an FMO that works in the insurance and annuity space, but we're a financial network because we also offer a number of other connections, from e-commerce, alternative investments, to credit reparation, to tax preparation, to even a health insurance arm and a Medicare arm. And so I wanted to make sure I created something that every agent could have access to if they wanted, or they could say, I don't want to use it because I have another avenue to go to, because I wanted every agent to be fully independent, non-captive, vested from day one, just like the independent world. And then I said to her something that no one's ever offered to her. I said, I think like an entrepreneur. I said, I'm not looking to build something where people are going to feel like intrapreneurs. I want them to feel like entrepreneurs as well. I want them to control so much of their own business, to the point where if they hit certain numbers, I want to give them a chance to become their own FMO. And she says, are you serious? I said, yes. She says, you know, if they become an FMO, they become your sidelines. They're no longer in your company. I said, I understand. She said, why would you want to do that? I said, well, I believe, just like the 4-minute mile, right? No one thought it could be done until one person did it. And when that one person did it, next month, 7 more people did it. And the next month after that, 3 more people did it. Because it took that one person breaking that limitation, that limiting belief, in order for everybody to say, I can do it. And I say to myself, if someone has the ability to run FMO type numbers, I want to give them that opportunity to become an FMO. And it's going to pour so much belief into the organization that everybody's numbers are going to rise. Now, granted, from a business standpoint, I wanted to make sure that her and I were in agreement on what needed to be done, and that there was some type of a royalty that I would receive directly from her for that particular FMO's operation. But long story short, you are officially in an opportunity where you get a chance to not only build yourself as an agent independently, build yourself as an agency independently, but at some point or another, get an opportunity to run your own FMO, build your own back office platform, build your own structure, build your own comp plan, build your own payroll team, build your own software, your own website, decide which companies you want to have, sit in meetings with these carriers and negotiate what production requirements they need out of you in order to get the comp levels, decide if you want to run a full direct to carrier operation, or if you want to run an operation where everybody is inside of the LWA and commissions come 100%. You decide. It's yours. I am a back office. I'm not looking for any of you to wear a hat or a jersey or a logo that says TKO Financial Network. What I am looking for all of you to do is to unlearn where you came from and realize you all have a company name that you've always envisioned, seen on a business card, seen on the front door of an office. Whatever that company name is, give birth to it. Incorporate it if you need to. My team will help you incorporate it. Assign commissions to that corporation if you need to. My team will help you do it. But build your company, have your logos, your marketing, your business cards, everything, leveraging TKO as your back office. Leveraging TKO as the company that provides you the resources, provides you the back office support, the contracts, the lead gen, the CRM system. And here's what's great. Again, this is a matter of unlearning. Because you're not captive to me, no one here has signed a single contract captivating themselves. You don't have to use any of my stuff if you don't want to. You can say, Tony, I want to use this, and this from you, but I'm going to go over there. There's another company over there that's offering this, and this, and I'm going to use that. Tony, I want to run an operation that deals with real estate and insurance. Go for it. Nobody here is shunning you from doing that. Tony, I want to run an operation that has a tax business and insurance, or an insurance and property and casualty. Or, you know what, Tony, I want to do basket weaving and life insurance as a business model. Can I do it? Yes, you can do it. It's your business. I'm your back office. I'm your support. Thankfully enough, I do come from the industry, so I can get down and dirty in the field and show you how to work this license that we all have and help families in the community. But I also have the tenure to be able to say, hey, I'm going to teach you from a corporate level how to run an agency and build the leadership team and run your company, knowing that if at any point in time you wanted to change your FMO, you could. See, we've got to do our job and give you so many resources and provide you so much support and make it so good that you choose to be here versus feeling like you're forced to be here. Because at any moment you can go. Matter of fact, I say this all the time to my VPs. I say, if there's a company you want to sell and I'm not currently selling it, do me a favor. Before you go looking for it, let me know you want it. Give me an opportunity to go hunt it down. Give me an opportunity to talk to the company. Give me an opportunity to figure out what type of production they need from us as an FMO. And give me an opportunity to bring it in. And if I can bring it, I'll bring it. But if I can't bring it, I'm expecting you to go get it. Because I expect for you to do what's right for you and your agents and your company and your community. And if you feel that company is something you have to have in your corporation, have it. You don't even need to hide it from my licensing team. You don't have to hide it from me. You don't have to do any of that. Do what's right for you and your community. Does anybody have any questions about what I just said before I go right into the orientation? Because I want to give that opportunity for Q&A. I like it. Okay, cool. So here's the results. We officially crossed our first year, January 8th of this year. I incorporated January 8th of last year when we went live. 1 year in under this crazy model. I didn't even bring my team with me from PHP. I left both of my marketing directors. I think only 2 people followed me just because they were local, and all the rest of them just kind of went and did their own thing. 1 full year in, we now have 300 and what's the number like? I'll give you the exact number. This is not counting this month so far. Believe it or not, your organization has kind of kept us pretty busy. Sandra likes that, by the way. Okay, she handles all that stuff. So not counting this month, we brought in 321 licensed agents, not recruits, 321 licensed and contracted agents. We issued, not submitted, we issued a little over 3.5 million in life business and wrote and issued a little over 3 million in annuity business first year in, with over a 95% placement and persistency. We were super proud of those numbers. I mean, just flabbergasted about those numbers. And so this year, the goal is 10 million. We want 10 million in issue placed life business, 5 million in issue placed annuity business. And I just want to see, what is this organization going to do to contribute to that? What is this organization going to do and say, hey, Tony, you got us for 25% of that, or you got us for 50% of that, or whatever that is. I want you to think about that, because this is genuinely us in partnership together, because those kind of numbers that I'm coming after, I can't do them by myself. I can never write that type of business, but I can definitely build and create distribution to hit those numbers. And that's what we're here to do today. That's 100% what we're here to do today. So without further ado, let's get started with orientation. My job today is to give you foundation. This is about understanding the basics of our model, because as much resources as I can give you to feed yourself, that puts you in a position to become independently running. That puts you in a position to be an entrepreneur, not an intrapreneur. Something I learned a long time ago is that if I don't give you tools, I become the tool. No one wants to be treated like a tool. I want you to reach out to me, ask me as many questions as you want, and I'm always going to give you the tools and resources to be able to learn how to do it and then go get it on your own if you need to. And that's what we build, and that's what orientation is about today. So let me log in here real quick and go through the process. Has everybody seen our website? I'm assuming so. Okay, it is tkofinancialnetwork.com. When I built it with the eyes of a field agent, the eyes of a builder, not the eyes of an owner of a company, but the eyes of a field agent, because that's where I came from. And so I wanted it to be the place where everything starts and stops, you know? And what's great about it is it's still evolving. It's still changing. I'm always talking to the developers and adding and improving on it. But let me explain what you're going to see here. Number one, everything up top here is open to the public. So if you want to have your clients research, you know, the company, no problem. Go to TKO Financial Network and take a look at who we are, right? And you've got the normal stuff, the about us. You know, you want to talk about a career opportunity, fill out this form, the products and services. Let me highlight a couple places. Agencies. Our VPs and above all have an opportunity. See if I can let me hide this here for a quick minute. There we go. There we go. Every one of our agency owners have an opportunity to have a moment to highlight themselves inside of our website. So what you're looking at right now are people who run their own agencies. These are VPs and above. These are people that have their own teams, have their own operations, have their own processes, sit with my licensing team and tell us how they want to run their business because we're their back office. Guys like Carlos Colon runs a company called Ace Financial Services. Walter runs Manifest Destination. Kenneth runs Emancipators Financial. Guys like Jared and Sierra Ballard, they run a company called JS Ballard that's more focused on real estate with an offset of insurance. People like Minor and Nivea Ramos, a husband and wife team, they run a company called TOC Agency. Their big focus is wealth management. They do a lot with infinite banking, premium financing. People like Sergio Mesa runs a company called Lifeline Solutions. He does a lot of stuff with annuity-based sales, high-level IUL sales. And I can keep going and going. And some people run different models, right? Like, for example, Nathan Brown here runs a company called Dominance Financial. His focus is more buying leads, selling final expense, simplified issue. That's the way he chooses to run his model. Joel Acosta runs Acosta Multi-Service Solutions. He runs insurance and real estate, right? Rubiel, if you guys know who Rubiel Soria Gonzalez is, he's based out of Illinois, runs a company called BBA, Bringing Back America Agency. And he runs his operation very similar to the way Practice Company runs, where he's recruiting and developing and growing and building. Caleb Duran, advanced sales to the max. I'm talking about, you know, you want to talk to an actuary type mindset, that is this individual right here. So here's what's cool. Here's what's cool. Victoria is going to be right here, right? Tabitha, I believe, is the other VP. She should be right there, right? Makisha is going to be somewhere down here, and it's going to continue to grow. Agency owners. Some of my agency owners are what's called white labeled. White labeled means that they choose to run fully independent. No one ever knows that TKO is their back office. They have their own website, they have their enrollment, their own licensing, their own everything. Their agents don't even know that we are their back office. It's kind of cool sometimes because some of their agents actually hit me up looking for opportunities, and I have to blindly kind of push them away because they don't recognize we are their back office, but they're fully white labeled. They have their own processes, their own systems and everything. Okay. Now, this button right here actually as well is our YouTube. So if you click there, it'll take you to the YouTube channel. I encourage all of you to subscribe, hit that little bell, turn on notifications, because I'm always putting videos in that channel so that you all, if you happen to miss a training, can always recap, or if you need a recap of video, you can do that. Now, when you all enrolled, you enrolled because of this link right here. You see, I have my username here. That means I'm logged in. Every one of you are going to have a username created. You get to log in. And when you log in, you get this drop-down menu. The public doesn't get this drop-down menu, but agents do. When you enroll an agent, you go right here. And this is how you enroll an agent. You go to that top button. You click right there. and it opens up and you enroll an agent, right? This is what you guys would call coding up an agent, right? This is how you're enrolling an agent. You want the agent's info. You want the direct uplines info. And the most important piece here, you have to assign it to the right upline VP. So you need to know who your VP is, and your agents need to know who your VP is. Is your VP Victoria? Is your VP Tabitha? Is your VP Makisha? That's important because that assigns you to the right VP organization, okay? Now, when you become a VP, guess what happens? Your name goes in there as well too, right? Your time zone, what level are you bringing them in at? You can bring agents in at any level below where you are at, any level below where you're at. So if you're a field manager, you can bring people in as a senior associate or as an associate. If you're a senior associate, you can bring people in as an associate. And if you're an associate, don't miss the 29th, because I'm going to kick out a brand new incentive on how to go from associate to senior associate. But if you're an associate, you can recruit other associates. Just understand we need to get you promoted up those levels so you can start generating override from that business. Okay. Now, when you hit this submit button, okay, actually, let me backstep a little bit. This is important. I need to know if you're recruiting people that are from WFG, from PHP, from FFL, if they're not licensed or maybe from another affiliation. I need to know that. And I'll tell you exactly why. I'm a very transparent person, okay? I have people in my company that are in big positions that were in big positions with WFG. And WFG, guess what they have? They have a 2-year non-compete clause with any agents that they recruit internally, same as PHP. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't accept a PHP associate, but it needs to be an unsolicited conversation. And so when we know that we're recruiting someone that comes from practice company, right, we want to do our due diligence and collect the right documentation to validate that that person wasn't poached, that person wasn't offered money in order to come. It wasn't that type of a conversation. This was someone that was already pretty much out the door or had already left and was looking for another opportunity. And then therefore they stumbled upon your agency or TKO, right? That's why that's important. My licensing team, I promise you, is on your side. We want to have everything, all the ducks in a row and everything proper. So you want to put this information in there. Now, when you hit submit, 2 things happen. Number 1, if you're the direct upline, you're going to get a text message. Victoria, I'm assuming you've gotten a bit of text messages, right? So you're going to get a text message letting you know, hey, congratulations, you have a brand new recruit. This is their name. Welcome them on board. The recruit, however, is going to get a welcome email, right? Everybody here should have gotten a welcome email. And the welcome email, there's 2 of them that come. One, really quickly, it's just text, gives you kind of a quick intro, and a YouTube video, a 7-minute video of me welcoming you to the organization, but giving you instructions on what to do to get started right away, from getting access to the website to licensing or pre-licensing. Another email should follow 45 minutes afterwards with our company logo and a little bit of a welcome letter. That's what happens. You have the peace of mind of knowing that's what happens when you build. From an independent standpoint, if you don't have this in place, you have nothing more than an Excel spreadsheet to keep track of your organization. We do it for you. We track your entire organization and recreate your entire hierarchy for you through this enrollment link. Let me keep going forward. Okay. Let's go over some of these tabs here. If you all want to run a BOM, we all know what that is, right? A business opportunity meeting or a corporate overview. If you said, Tony, I want to run a BOM. I got access to a big market. Can you help me out? The answer is yes. Let's find the date. Let's find the time. Let's promote it to the entire agency so other agency owners know about it. This becomes your captain's list. This is where you insert the guest's name, number, contact info. And what happens when you hit submit, you're going to get an email with the Zoom ID for that particular BOM. For pre-licensing, you recruit someone who's not licensed. Here's where you go, pre-licensing. We have 2 companies. One, Excel Solutions, which is for every single state except for Illinois. Unfortunately, Illinois is not approved for Excel Solutions. And so for Illinois, what we have is ExamFX. So this is for Illinois residents. This would take you directly to ExamFX website. And guess what I have? Instructions, just step-by-step how to enroll an agent from the state of Illinois. All the other states is Excel Solutions. So if I click this, guess what it takes you to? Excel Solutions. There it is. Now, if you don't know how to do it, you can go right here to instructions, and there's a video of me showing you how to get them enrolled into that program. Here's what's cool. You ready? It's free for 30 days. Excel Solutions is a free pre-licensing program for 30 days. We pay a monthly subscription for that service. So you all have that. Now I'm talking to builders. If you're a builder, I would not enroll any of your agents into that pre-licensing for free until they show you that they've scheduled their state exam. Think about it. They didn't pay anything to come on board. They're not paying anything for pre-licensing. You want to see if they're serious? Have them schedule their state exam. What is it going to cost? 40, 50 bucks? Schedule it 3 weeks out. Nothing better than studying for a test where you know the test date. You know the test date. So I don't get anybody registered for pre-licensing until they've shown me that they've scheduled their state exam. Now, do you have to do it that way? You don't. It's just my advice. It's just my advice. When they're ready to take their exam, they can go right here to schedule state exam. They're going to fill out all their information and their credit card information. And this information is going to push to my licensing team. And guess what my licensing team does for you? We schedule the state exam for you. We want you on the field, recruiting and building and producing. Let us take care of the back office for you. We got you. And if we have questions, trust me, we'll call you. No problem. Right? Now, let's say you say to me, Tony, we just recruited 10 people. They're not licensed. They like the licensing program, but they want someone to teach them. Do you have something? Yes, we do. We partnered with a company called Destination for Education. I clicked that last button at the bottom. The person who owns that is this guy right here. We call him Coach Paul. What you're going to do is right here, register TKO Financial, right? We've already got the partnership already in place. If you want to schedule an appointment with him, you go right here to appointment. And what do you get? You get access to his Calendly. You can schedule a meeting with him. I would encourage you to do that first. But let me tell you how his program works. He's based out of New York, okay? He'll do a 2-weekend study program to prep your agents for the state exam. He'll call every agent, introduce himself to them, and he'll make sure that they are at the level they need to be at with their pre-licensing program before they enter the class. How much does it cost? $35 a head. Minimum 5 agents. Because does that make sense? So $35 a head, minimum 5 agents. He'll run that class for you. He'll do everything about that state exam except for state laws. Because remember, you might be recruiting in all 50 states, so he won't cover state laws. However, if you want him to cover state laws, he'll do a 3rd weekend class, but again, 35 bucks a head. This is who you leverage if you want to be licensing in large caliber. For continued education, he's a continued education coach. You can do all your CEs through his program. Make sense? Nods of the head. Everybody's good? Okay, perfect. So we talk pre-licensing. Now let's talk licensing and contracting. You bring on board an agent, he's licensed.
Tony,
yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry. They have a question, and I believe I answered it correctly. But for health,
Yes.
we all want to incorporate our health license and work on that side also. We can just go to the pre-licensings and sign up for free with that same code
Yup.
in Excel Solutions, and it's going to be free.
There you go. I mean, look, let's do it right now. Look at this. You go right here to enroll an agent. You pick pre-licensing right here in English, right? Some states offer it in Spanish, just so you know. Let's say the state of Georgia. You have life and health. You have life by itself, or you have health by itself. What you're going to do is you're going to select health. You'll see $199. You hit go to cart. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to go back to the home page. I'm sorry, our home page right here. This code is the discount code. You're going to grab it, right click, copy, go back to this home page over here and apply this discount code. Boom. Once you hit that apply button, oh, sometimes there's a space in there. So I apologize. If you see that happen, there's a space in the front, just backspace a little bit, hit apply. Look what happened there. Free for 30 days. It's a $240 discount code. It's good for 30 days. After 30 days, it costs 40 bucks. You can go right here to proceed to checkout. You'll be asked to plug in that person's credentials, username, passwords, email, and boom, they have access to the portal. They can start their studies right then and there. Make sense? Good stuff. All right, cool. Any other questions? And
I
yes.
have a question, Tony.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you look at Texas for me? Because I looked several times last night. It's not health by itself.
Some states aren't. Some states they're automatically included. So if it's like that, and you live in Texas, ma'am,
Yes, I live in Dallas.
chances are your license already has health involved in it. That might be the case. So let's check Texas. Let's see here. Here's Texas. You have health and life. You have life over here. Look, you have property and casualty. I don't see a health side. Chances are this is the license you have, which probably already includes health insurance. That's what that means. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Now, if
So
you
would
want
they
Yes, ma'am.
they only have life, because we did this. So would they just do the life and health together again?
you know what I would do? I would set up
Uh-huh.
a meeting with Coach Paul and ask him,
Okay.
or contact Excel Solutions. I'm sure there's
That is-
a way to get their number and call them and ask them that question. Because that's more of a state specific
Okay.
type scenario. So it'd be worth finding out. And I would call Excel Solutions before you contact Paul, right? Because that's the company you do the pre-licensing. So they have to have the answer for that. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me keep going unless there's other questions. Okay. And Victoria, if you could keep an eye on the chat box for questions, that'd be great, because I don't see that on my end.
Definitely.
All right. So let's talk about licensing. Wow, we start recruiting licensed agents, or you just got your license, you're ready to go. You're like, Tony, I need my errors and emissions, man. Can you help me out? Or I'm a builder, right? Victoria, I need my errors and emissions. There's nothing more cumbersome to a builder or a field agent than having to stop for admin. And so we want to make sure we became your admin. So these right here are very user-friendly: how to get your errors and emissions, how to get your anti-money laundering, and how to find your national producer number. Simple, black and white. It's to the point where there's screenshots. So if you want your errors and emissions, you click here and follow the steps. All the instructions are there. Screenshots are there. You know, it's one update I did today. Let me see if it's here. I believe it is. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Bam, look at that. The screenshots have the old pricing. It was about $41. Now it's about $70. Now, do you have to use this company? No, you're independent. If you find another company that can give you an errors and emissions, go for it. You just got to make sure it's $1 million per claim, $1 million aggregate, and it has to have your name on it. You have to be known as the insured. You're not the additional insured. And by the way, all that is here. I explained that in detail, so you can go and grab your own if you need to, or just use that one. You need to get your anti-money laundering, click right here. Here's your instructions for AML through LIMRA on first page, and the second page is Reg Ed. Instructions there. Just follow the instructions. You'll get your anti-money laundering. When you're finally ready to get licensed to go contracting, you follow these steps here. 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. I'm going to give you a little bit of a tool here. This is a big resource for you, okay? Step 2 is the most important of the 4. It shows you how to create your portal with a service we have called SureLC, okay? Now, if you have questions, look at this. You ready? There is, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Hang on. Where is it? There it is. You see that name right there, Sandra Lopez? See that phone number right there? That is like the best hotline number when it comes to licensing on the planet. Okay. Sandra Lopez is my girlfriend. She's my significant other. She's the one she touches every single license, every contract, every single thing. She is on point when it comes to this. Okay. Okay. Trust me. She's on point when it comes to that stuff. If we ever go out to eat, she likes whiskey on the rocks. Okay. Just so y'all know, hook up your licensing coordinators. But you call her if you have a question. Call her, shoot her a text message if you have a question. Okay. If she doesn't answer right away, I promise she gets back to you pretty quickly. Not a problem. Any questions about that? Okay. Now, she doesn't know you finished any of this if you don't follow this step right here. That's why I've highlighted. It's huge. If you don't copy this email, this template right here, and email it to her, she has no idea you've finished it. You could have finished it. We don't know nothing about it. You don't know nothing until you do that. So this is why I say to you, be very detail oriented and follow each of these steps. This takes maybe 40 minutes to do, guys. Step 1 through 4. It's very easy. But that begins your contracting. What will happen immediately afterwards is you'll start to get the next day or the following, you'll start to get individual emails for every company that we're going to fill out contracting paperwork for. Now you might say, well, Tony, okay, but how do I track my licensing? How do I track my contracting? You can go right here to writing numbers. And when you go to writing numbers, you're going to be taken to a Google sheet. Bam. Now this is still manually input. A lot of what we have has been automated. This is still manually input. So bear with it. We update it about once a week. But what you're going to be able to do is you'll be able to scroll down and find your name or your downline's name. Right? Like, let's look, there we go. Look, there's Victoria. Bam, there she is right there. And she can see where she is with licensing. So look, she's currently pending with North American. She's currently pending with Allianz, but there's her writing number already. So they've already assigned that. She's pending with Foresters. She's pending with Aetna, right? She's pending with Oxford. It's showing that she's waiting on WIA means waiting on advisor. That means that the contracting paperwork is sitting in your inbox. We're just waiting for you to fill it out and send it back. JIT stands for just in time. That means we've collected your paperwork. It's in good order. We're now just waiting for you to turn in your first piece of business. Let me give you something that is important. It's crucial you understand this. You will not get a writing number until you have your first piece of business to turn in. That's very different than practice company. With practice company, you get writing numbers no matter what. You don't hear, and here's why. When you're in the independent world, if you don't use that writing number within a 90-day period, you lose it. They terminate you. And then you got to go through the whole process all over again. It costs us as an FMO anywhere from $75 to $100 to turn in contracting per carrier, per agent. And so rather than turning it all in and then risking you losing your writing numbers, we want to turn in your writing number when you have a piece of business. Now, that doesn't mean you can't run illustrations. It doesn't mean you can't submit business. You can submit business without a writing number. We're actually doing that right now with Victoria and a good handful of her teams. We're doing that where you can do that and not have a writing number, because every state except for Pennsylvania will allow you to turn in business and begin contracting for your writing number at the same time. Pennsylvania is the only state where you have to have the writing number first before you get contracted. So what you're really looking for here is to be in this status, JIT. That means your paperwork is good. We're waiting on that first piece of business. And then the next thing you want to do is watch one of my videos on how to run quotes and submit business without writing numbers, so you can still feel like you can run your business. Does that make sense? Or does anybody have any questions about that? Good. All right, let's keep going. Now, let me fast forward a little bit over here. Let me go right into
Tony.
Yes, ma'am.
Latina had a question. She said, I'm going to explain it to her. The writing numbers, do we have to get new writing numbers or assign new ones? Can you explain how coming from the practice company that if they haven't written in 6 months, that it'll be a transfer? Okay.
Yeah, of course. I definitely will. Hang on one quick second. Let me do this. Can you all give me like 30 seconds real quick? Hang on one quick second.
Great questions. Did I answer everyone's questions in the messenger? If I missed it, please let me know as they're coming through. I'm trying to answer them as they come in. Y'all are good. What do you all think so far? Y'all are good?
So we can transfer our national life group numbers if that has been.
Miss Sandra is probably going to answer that in just a second. It won't be if you have written for 6 months. If you have written in the last 6 months, you have to wait over 6 months. But if you have, I'm going to let Miss Sandra or Tony explain that to you, because I'm still a little shaky on it. I don't know exactly. Here he is.
I'm back.
He's gonna.
Okay.
All right. So let me explain to you what this means. Okay. There's such a thing in this industry called blackout. Okay. Now every company has their own definition of blackout. I'm going to tell you what the majority of the companies do, but I'll also share with you how certain specific companies operate. Blackout means if you're with an FMO or an IMO and you've already gotten contracts with them and you want to transfer that contract, if it's within 6 months from when you wrote business or 6 months from when you contracted with them, that FMO that you were at needs to release you. They have to sign a document to release you over so that you can recontract. If they're not willing to sign, you have to black yourself out, which means you cannot write business. You cannot receive override income for that business for 6 months before you can transfer it without the consent of your prior FMO, IMO. Practice company will not sign off on any of it. They won't. You got to wait 6 months no matter what. Now, some companies do not measure contracting date for 6 months. They just look at writing. So if you contracted with a company like Americo, I'll tell you specifically which company it is. If you contracted with Americo, but you didn't write business, you can immediately transfer that contract elsewhere and not have to wait 6 months. They do 6 months waiting from when you wrote business or when you received overrides from a downline of business. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, as a rule of thumb, and this is for the rest of your career with this is for the rest of your career with TKO, okay, or any other company you go, for the rest of your career in the insurance industry, I want you to understand this. If you transfer contracts from one place to the other, when you get that writing number, do yourself a favor. Contact that company, make sure that when they activated your new writing number, they assigned it to the new FMO that you represent and didn't reassign you to the old FMO by mistake. That happens. Sometimes it happens, it's a mistake, so it's your responsibility. This is the part about being independent you need to learn. You need to understand there's no big brother here. You're overseeing your operation. So you've got to make sure you call the carrier and say, hey, I'm back with you guys. I was once with you. I'm back again. Can you confirm that I'm with the correct IMO, FMO? Number one. Number two, can you confirm that I am on an advanced commission schedule? Meaning, am I getting advancements in my commissions or am I getting paid as earned, which means monthly? I need you to check that. Number two. Number three, can you confirm if you're a direct to carrier agent that you're getting paid direct to carrier and not what's called LWA, line of authority, which means the FMO gets the commission first and then pays you. Okay, those are the three things you want to check on with every company when you get contracted, but more importantly, when you transfer a contract over. Okay. Now, the reason I say I would really love it if everybody took that responsibility is because we would be jammed up and bogged down if we had to do that for every single agent. So let's all work together and get ourselves to that next level. Make sense? Or any questions? Good.
Can
Okay.
you repeat those steps one more time for me?
Those three, of course. When you get contracted, you want to contact the contracting department of that insurance company, not TKO, right? We're your IMO, FMO relationship, but the actual insurance company. You want to find out a couple of things. One, are you on an advanced schedule? Are you going to get advanced commissions, which typically is 9-month advance, right? Or are you on an as earns? If you are on an as earns by mistake, don't stress. Let us know. We'll contact them, fix it. No problem. Second thing, are you on a direct to carrier contract, meaning the company pays you directly, or are you on an LOA contract, meaning TKO receives the commissions and then pays you afterwards? Some of you are going to be both. Some of you are going to be direct to carrier for every contract. And I'll explain that momentarily so you understand what it is and why it exists. I'm very big about explaining why, because there's a reason and a rhyme to the madness. And the third thing, if it's a transfer, not if it's a brand new contract, but if it's a transfer, you want to make sure that your upline FMO is TKO, which means that your upline IMO is UMS. Those are the things you want to check every time you get a writing number. Mistakes happen. Okay, so when those happen, it's best if the person that it's affecting the most, which is you, the agent, double check it before you turn in business so that we can fix it. If you turn in business and you're set up on an as earns basis, we'll fix it to advance, but that business that you just turned in prior to the advanced schedule is going to pay you on an as earns basis. That's why I say when you get the contract, double check it. Questions? Everybody's good? Okay. Here's what I will tell you. We're at 340 something. You heard the number, licensed agents. I only had maybe 7 agents have these little hiccups. So we're very good about doing things right the first time, but mistakes happen. Those do occur. Okay. Good. Okay. Let me share my screen again and continue on. Okay. Let's go through an orientation here of compensation, promotions, so on and so forth, okay? TKO, what exactly does TKO stand for, Tony? Is this total knockout? Am I a part of total knockout team? No, no. TKO stands for the Kaizen organization. Kaizen is a Japanese word. It means consistent, never-ending growth. I've been using that word since I was a teenager. I learned it in judo. And it's just made so much sense to me in the world of business, in the world of self-development, in the world of everything. Consistent, never-ending growth. We're a financial network because we offer more than just insurance and investment products. These are some of the carriers that we represent. Guys, be very fortunate, okay? Feel very, I don't want to say be very fortunate. I want to say feel very blessed, because I feel very blessed at this. We represent some of the top companies in the market space. Guys, Allianz is the #1 IUL in the market for the last 5 years running from an accumulation standpoint. North American's just behind that. And then you got companies with reputable brand names like Nationwide, right? Nationwide's on your side. That's a big company. Prudential, those are big companies. Transamerica, those are big company names. You know, these are all companies that have vetted us out and given us authorization to represent them and sell them. Notice there's health insurance companies there too. You got Aetna, Blue Cross Blue Shield, you got Molina. We've got a credit repair company partnered with us called Credit Repair Builders. I mean, we've got some very strong companies, and this isn't even all of them. This isn't even all of them, because believe it or not, we put together this marketing flyer in the very beginning. And since then, we've added some other powerhouse companies to the platform as well. Resources. Let me address resources. This is what sets us apart from all the rest. Okay. You got a lot of resources with TKO. You have lead generation. You want to purchase leads? We have training on leads. We have access to third-party vendors, but we also have our own internal lead generation systems where you could pick up social media leads, exclusive click leads, call center leads. We have that. We have all of that in place. We have a CRM unlike any other. If you guys were on Voxer today, seeing some of the conversations, it is an artificial intelligence CRM that we built. It's a very costly service that we have, but it's such a huge resource, because this CRM system has an artificial intelligence, which means when you upload a lead, the CRM is going to start texting and emailing that lead as though it's you. And if the lead actually responds, the CRM will let you know. It'll text message you and it'll say, hey, Victoria, John Smith, responded to one of the messages. Log into the CRM and see what he said. And if you don't respond in time, because it'll give you some time to do it, if you don't respond, it'll continue communicating with that lead to keep that lead hot for you. It'll go as far as try to schedule a 15-minute meeting for you, 15-minute phone call on your calendar, ready to go. It has that. You know how long our drip campaign is? Ready? 12 weeks. 12 weeks of this every time you upload leads. It has a voice over IP number, so you have your own phone number. If the lead calls you, like if the lead doesn't respond to the text message, but actually calls, you know what Jarvis does? Jarvis, which is our CRM system, that's what it's called. Jarvis will call you on your number. When you pick up the phone, Jarvis will say, hey, you got a lead on the line, and then merges the call between you and the lead. That's pretty sick, guys. That is legit, right? It has a pipeline tracker. So you could put your leads where they are. Are they interested, not interested? Have you scheduled the meeting? Are you doing a follow-up with them? Okay. It'll automatically upload. It has email automation. It has an auto dialer, speed dialer. You want to put 100 numbers on there and you want to click a start button and call every one of them back to back without having to dial their numbers, knowing that every time you hang up on a number behind you, a voicemail is being left behind, knowing that if you get on a phone call with them, Jarvis is going to record your phone conversation so that you can always go back to that conversation and use it as a training exercise. Because if, let's say you guys have, let's say Trina here becomes amazing on the phone. She's just a beast at it. You probably want to learn what she's doing. Her VP and her can actually extract that recording, and you can use it as a training exercise to figure out what you did right, what you did wrong, what could you change. Pretty good. That system comes for every single TKO agent. There's a cost. You can choose to get it. You can choose not to get it. It's your choice. Okay. We have a back office support. This phone number, Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4:30 Eastern time, is for every one of these departments. An annuity department. You want to talk to a department head about an annuity, compare an annuity, role play an annuity. put together the application. Heck, they'll get on a Zoom meeting with you and your client and help you close the annuity, and they don't even need to be put on a cut of the business. A pre-medical underwriting team. I'm talking about a team that'll scrub the entire market for a client of yours. If your client has medical issues, they'll scrub the market to figure out which is the best company to go with and send you a report. A sales design team, if you need illustrations ran, a case management team that'll help you with underwriting, a 401k planning team if you stumble upon a group case, group benefits for group life, group DI, disability and long-term care, and a one-stop shop illustration portal. It looks like this, where you can literally run quotes on one platform for almost 80% of our companies. It'll merge the quotes in one PDF presentation showing every company that you chose. And then you can text message that report to your client or email that report to your client at the push of a button. It is sick what you have access to. Outside of that, everything that's not in yellow are the departments that I've internally created within TKO. This is part of your back office IMO. This here is part of TKO. A licensing department head, that's Sandra Lopez. A health insurance department head, that's Rob Rawl. A Medicare department head, that's Howard Rabinowitz. A life settlements and premium financing department, that's Michael D'Amico. An e-commerce department head, that's Carlos Colon. A credit repair department, that's Natalia Lopez. A student loan forgiveness department, that's Kramer. And a tax preparers department, that's Gloria Abar. I've partnered with people that are very good at these things, that have been doing this for 10 plus years, and created a network where you can say, hey, I don't have that. I want to leverage that and work with it. Maybe you want to do it. Maybe you don't want to do it, but you want to refer it. Either case, you're going to get paid for both. It's there. So for example, Victoria runs a very successful tax business. She's more than likely not going to leverage our tax preparers department, and that's okay. But she might leverage our e-commerce department. She might leverage our group health department, our credit repair department. You can cherry pick and choose what you want to use and what you don't want to use. Okay. We have clinics and coaching. Okay. We have a clinic this coming 29th of the month called Closers College, which is going to be virtual and face-to-face. We're going to be talking to vendors like Foresters. We're going to be talking to Ace Financial from e-commerce, but we're going to be doing a clinic on how to sell final expense, from scripts, objection handling, running quotes, field meetings. It's all there. And guess what? Are you ready? It's free. It's free. You just got to show up. You just got to show up. Once a quarter, I do it face-to-face. All the other times is virtual. And every quarter, I pick a location to go to. So who knows? If Georgia decides to get on the map and they're the #1 producing state, I might say, hey, we're running next quarter right there in Georgia, right? We have presentation material. If you're used to flip charts for recruiting interviews, for sales presentations, we have those in-house already for you with our TKO logos. And guess what's crazy? If you want all of that marketing material to have your logos and your color scheme, my graphics designer will do it for $200. Remove TKO's logo, put your logo in, change the color scheme around so it's your logos, your marketing material. Why reinvent the wheel? These are the resources you have accessible to you. Does that make sense? Good stuff? All right, let's keep going. Let me do this. Let me hide this. Let me go back. This is something I want you all to do. I want you to go to the orientation tabs and I want you to print out this checklist. This is your new associate checklist. I want you to finish this list off. Half of this is already done. I mean, it's half already done. Get on the group chat, go through contracting, finish your orientation part 1. That's what we're doing today. Understand what the TKO schedule is, how to get access to our scheduling, which I'll show you now. Have a financial needs analysis done on yourself by your upline. Put together a top 25 list, or be prepared to buy your first batch of leads if you're in what I call the NFL league, the no friends left league, right? I got no friends left. I can't call nobody. Okay, I got to buy some leads. I want to learn about leads. I did a really good video today that I'm going to update. I'm going to put on the YouTube channel on, how to run a leads-based business. Sit in on an orientation part 2, because that's our next meeting, guys, is a part 2 orientation where I show you how to run quotes, submit business. I show you all that piece, and attend a closers college. That's your checklist, guys. Knock it out of the park. Finish it as fast as you can. How do you get access to that list? You go right here, orientation. There it is, checklist. If you guys will give me 15 more minutes, I'll finish up here. If you want to look at comp grids, you go right here to compensation. And here's your comps. There it is. There it is, right? Now, in the independent world, you need to understand something. You're not a number. This is not, I'm a director, 60%. I'm a field associate, 50%. No, you get paid differently based on different products and different companies. You need to know what title you are. So if you're a field manager, or you're a senior associate or an associate, like let's just use field manager as an example. You would highlight field manager, and this is your comp across the board for the product by the company. So if you said, hey, what do I get paid on NLG? Okay, well, let's scroll over here. Let's find NLG. Where are you? NLG. There's NLG. So for the underwritten term, it's 85. For the whole life, it's 85. For the Flex Life IUL, it's 85. But what do I get paid with North American? Well, let's go to North American. North American, if you write the Protector Builder IUL, it's 85. If you write their GUL, it's 80. If you write a 10-year term, it's 60. But if you write a 20 to 30-year term, it's 85. That's what a field manager gets paid. You can see what uplines get paid. You can see what downlines get paid. So you can make projections on overrides, spreads, so on and so forth. What do we get paid in Nationwide? 85. What do we get paid in Allianz? 90. You just got to scroll through and find the company. To the right are all the annuity companies that we have access to. If you want to look at New York, there's New York, because New York comps are very different, just so you know. But Tony, I want to get into health insurance. Okay, well, here's our health insurance contracts. Here's the comps. But what if I sell dental, vision, hospital indemnity? Here they are. But Tony, what if I get into Medicare? Well, here's your Medicare comps. But e-commerce, I just generated an e-commerce client. Well, here's your commissions. But tax preparation, well, here's your comps. But credit, here's your comps. You get what I'm saying? Transparency, clarity, it's all there for you, ready to go. You just got to take a look at your comps and understand them. Okay. If you want to look at promotion guidelines, that's big. Guys, you guys need to be focused on promotion guidelines right now. Okay. I might tell you. All right. Let me think about it. Okay. So here's promotion guidelines to the left. Here's an example of compensation and how it works. Let's talk about promotion guidelines. You can get promoted as a builder, means you're recruiting, right? Count my numbers based on my team. Or you can get promoted as a producer. You're like, no, I'm not recruiting. I just want to produce, right? I want to get measured on my personal efforts. Cool, no problem. Associates is the entry level. If you want to become a senior associate as a producer, you got to do 10,000 issue placed, not submitted. You got to issue the business 2 months in a row. 2 months in a row, you got to issue the business. If you want to do it as a builder, you got to do 25,000 issue placed 2 months in a row. That's you and your team combined together. What's the difference between submitted and issued? Why do I do it that way? I don't want anybody submitting business that they have no intention on issuing. What's the point? What is the point on turning in fake business? Let's put business in. Let's issue the business. Here's something you're going to love. You're going to love. The last day of the month is always going to be the last Thursday of a month. It'll always be that way. So closeout culture, closeout environment is always going to be the last Thursday of the month, not on submitted, but issued. You know what that means? That means to my single parents that exchange their children every other weekend, because I went through that at one point. Thankfully, I don't have to go through that any longer. I have Sandra in my life. We're together all the time, right? But there was a time that I was single. There was a time that I ran this business single, and I'm exchanging my children every other weekend. There was nothing worse to me than for closeout to land on a weekend that I have my kids. And now I have to decide, do I spend them with my kids and let my team feel like I'm abandoning them, or do I spend it with my team and then my kids miss out on a weekend with me, or me miss out on a weekend with them? Closeouts are always going to be Thursdays. Last Thursday of the month, no matter what. Last Thursday of the month, no matter what. Issue place business means you're not going to be up at 1 a.m. trying to submit that last piece of business from your neighbor, waking him up and he's got crust in his eyes trying to get him to take that application. You got to issue the business. Simple as that. All of these promotions are based on 2 months in a row with an 85% persistency, which means 85% of your business needs to stay in the books. This is not about putting business in that's going to leave. Put business in that stays. If you're going to do it as a builder, right? For example, to become a VP, you're talking 150,000 2 months in a row issue placed as a builder. there is a 50% rule, which means you can only count half of this number, which is 75,000, from one leg. You got to get the rest from all the other legs, or you got to get the rest from your personal numbers. Does that make sense? Pretty black and white, pretty simple, pretty easy to understand. Should I tell you about the update? Should I tell you about the update?
That would be cool, but there is a question.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you calculate points? How do you calculate the issue pay
Yeah.
point?
Of course. So good thing is there's reports for that, right? But if it's an IUL, it's target premium, right? What is the target premium? The illustration will tell you. If it's term insurance, it's the annual premium, right? Permanent policies always have target premium numbers. So what the client pays doesn't always equate to the target premium, right? So it's target premium on any permanent policy, which is whole life, GUL, IUL. It's annual premium based on term insurance. And it's 7% of your annuities. So if you turn in 100,000 in an annuity, that's 7,000 target premium credit you'll get towards this issue placed. Make sense? Cool. All right, cool. So that's promotion. Yes, ma'am.
Can you do a calculation? Because I had someone ask me, and I'm not used to this. So how, if they have a policy that plays, say the annual premium is $100 a month, how does that work with their contract? How would they get paid? How do you calculate that?
So I'll tell you what, let's pick a company first. Let's do that. Let's pick, do we want a final expense company or do we want an IUL company? I'll let you guys pick. What do you want?
IUL.
IUL, yeah.
IUL. All right. I'll do a quick screen share here first so I can validate my conversation with you. Let's say we're selling IUL. The big hitter I'm going to tell you right now is Allianz. And what do we want to do? A field manager contract? It works? Okay.
Yes.
So a field manager's contract with an IUL with Allianz is 90%, right? Okay. So remember that number, 90%. So you can see that board back there. Everybody can? Yes. Okay. So let's say the policy is $100 a month, and $100 a month times 12 months means the client's paying $1,200 a year, right? Remember, when it's permanent policies, you're looking for the target premium. That number is always going to be in the illustration. Do we want to? I'm going to assume that the target premium is the $1,200. Right? This is a policy that's ran right at target. So it's $1,200 target premium, right? So what you're going to do, you're going to take $1,200, which is your target premium. You're going to multiply that by your contract level. That's a 90% contract. So that's multiplied by 0.90, right? Somebody take 1,200 and multiply by 0.90 for me. 1,080. I saw somebody type it up. So your total commission is $1,080. However, this is what you're going to receive total. You're not going to get all that up front. What you're going to get is 75% of that up front. So 75% of that, you multiply that by 75% is how much? $810. That's what you get up front the moment you issue the policy, approve the policy. It's in force. 810. The difference, which is the difference between the total commission and what they gave you, is $270. You're going to get that on the 12th payment that the client makes. When the client makes their 12th payment and the policy has successfully paid itself for a full year, then you're going to get the remaining 270. That comes on the back end, on the rears. The only way you'll get this full 1,080 up front is if the client pays the whole year up front. But if the client is paying monthly, they're willing to advance you 75% of your commission, which is $810, and they'll give you the rest when you fulfill the 12th month.
Tony, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So, okay, you get the 270 after the year. And then yearly, are there renewals?
Every company's different. Some companies pay 2%, 4%, 7%. Some companies do it for 7 years, 10 years. Every company has a different schedule. Welcome to the world of being independent, right? But you will get a renewal on these policies, you know, for whatever time period it is that the company honors. And let's just say you transfer that contract somewhere else, or you terminate that contract, you're vested on all that renewal. That's still going to be coming in no matter what. Any questions?
And that's on just annuities?
Annuities don't typically have renewals, just so you know. Most annuities don't. They just have a one-time commission. But essentially, that explanation was an IUL. That was an IUL. That was
Oh,
that was an insurance product. Okay.
Someone wants to know if that's issued in place, how many points would that be? That would be the 1,080 if that's the target. If that happened, no, that's 1,200.
Correct. It's all about what the
Okay.
target premium is, and you always have
Got
to look
it.
at the illustration to see what the target premium is. So, like for example, if I'm building an IUL for a 40-year-old, I'm not going to run it right at target. I'm going to overfund it by a little bit. And so the target might be less than what the client's putting in, but that's the right thing to do for the client. You get paid based on target premium. And that might be a training I might need to do to show you how to design IULs so that you know what's the right way to design it. When do you run it at target? When do you overfund it a little bit? Because that's important. You can do really good stuff with IULs. You could do a lot of damage to people if you're designing the IULs incorrectly. And so that could very well be another training that I do, but it's always based on target, and the illustration will tell you what the target number is. It'll tell you exactly what the target is. It'll do it for that, except for term. Term is simple. It's the annual premium. Boom, annual premium, done, simple. Make sense? Good stuff. Okay. Cool.
There's one more question
Yes,
from Ms.
ma'am.
Latina. She said, if you have a current client in a life contract, can you rewrite or transfer them with your new writing number with the same company? That's a tricky question, so that's you.
Yeah, so let me tell you right now, my advice, if this is a practice company client, don't do anything with that. You don't want to replace business that you wrote when you were with practice company. Remember, you signed an NAA, that new associate agreement, those documents that we love to code people up with when we were at practice company. In there is a holds harmless and a non-compete clause. For 2 years, you cannot replace business that you did with them. I would definitely not get into that space, because now you're affecting their pocketbook, and if you affect their pocketbook enough, they might come back at you. Okay, now let's just say you're an independent agent and you were writing business with ABC company, and then you moved over here, right? You can do what's called an agent of record change, right? Or for example, let me give you another example. Let's say I go to the field tomorrow and I meet with someone that I've never met. I met them for the first time ever. I find out they have an NLG policy, and they haven't talked to that agent in over 5 years or whatever, and they love the relationship with me. I can do an agent of record change of that existing policy where I become the servicing agent. I'm not going to get any commissions for it. They're not gonna move the commissions to me or anything like that. The original writing agent's gonna always have that, and the renewals. It's always theirs no matter what. But if I want that client to be in my book of business so that I can help service them, I can do an agent of record change, have them sign that form, send it to the company. The company assigns me as their servicing agent. Now I can help them with that policy. Why would I do something like that? Maybe I wrote up other policies with them. Maybe I have other investments, they've done other business with me, and so they want me to manage everything of theirs. I can do that. Any other questions?
Nina did have a question. She says, hold on, it's going through. She said, so just to be clear on the monthly paid insurance policies, we will receive the percentage, and the full paid policies, we will receive the 9 months paid up front plus our percentage.
You're going to receive 9 months of whatever your percentage is. That's the easiest way to say it. So if you're at a 90% contract, whatever that 90% is, you'll get 75% of that, which is the same thing as saying 9 months, right? If you're at a 100% contract, whatever the 100% commission of that policy is, you're going to get nine months of that, which is the same thing as saying 75% upfront, and then the rest of it you'll get on the back end. Which, just let me think here for a minute. Just so you know, just so you know, that's how PHP paid y'all. Same way. The only difference is that the initial percentage was the same across the board, but they only gave you 9 month advance. They didn't give you the full commission up front. They only gave you 9-month advance. You know, you would get the rest of it on the trails. The difference between this comp and PHP is obviously it's a lot higher, right? Dramatically higher. But number two, every product has a different percentage. You're not like, I'm a director, 60% everything. No, some companies is 90, some companies is, 80, some companies are 85. You know what I mean? Everything is different. That's why you have to look at that schedule that I have there. Somebody's going in and out on service.
Thank you.
Can you all hear me clearly?
Yes, we can hear you clear. And there's another question. Can you write a policy on your own children?
Okay, so great question, by the way. Let me talk about that for a bit because I think that's important to talk about. As a rule, now I'm going to leave this up to the VPs and the SVPs to decide on their teams, how they want to run it. I'm going to tell you how I run it with my direct agents, okay, and my VP team, okay? As a rule, I don't allow an agent to write their own business on themselves or their immediate family members that live under their roof. If it's a family member that relies on that person's paycheck, I don't let them write their own business. That's called internal consumption, right? You guys might have been used to that at PHP. I believe in internal consumption. The upline is the one that writes it. Now, rather than telling you that's how we do it, I want to tell you that's how we do it, and I want to explain why. That's the big piece. I want to explain to you why. Let's just say, because this happens. That's the reason why I chose to do it this way. Let's say you recruit a newbie, a rookie into the company. You don't really know him that well. He seems promising. You bring him in. He's direct to carrier with all the companies, and he's contracted with 5 companies. He's writing business with all of them, and he gets paid directly from each one of them, right? Cool, right? However, he gets a chargeback on this company right here. He owes this company $3 grand. He's a rookie. He's got maybe some, he's not so ethical, let's just say, right? What he does is he continues to write with the other 4, but doesn't pay any mind to this one. He's like, I'm not paying that back. Forget them. Forget them. Forget them. They're sending him notifications. He doesn't care. He's still writing business. The company sent you notification because you're the upline, but you can't get a hold of him. He's not answering his phone. He continues to write business over here. You can't stop him because he's direct to carrier. You can't pinch his contracts. He's direct to carrier. If he doesn't pay this chargeback off, you know what happens? It rolls up to you. All of a sudden you log into your back office and boom, they took the money from your commission. You're like, whoa, what happened? Why'd you do that? Well, your downline didn't pay it back. We sent them notifications. They had 30 days to do it. They didn't do it. We're going to take it from you. Right? And now all of a sudden you're chasing this guy and you're chasing him and you're chasing him. He doesn't answer your calls. He's still writing with these other companies. Right? You can't do nothing about it. That risk that I just talked about happens most with personal business. You get an agent that's desperate. They went into the industry full time. They're desperate to pay their bills. They've been struggling. You know what they have the itch to do. Unfortunately, the enemy starts talking in their ear. They write up a policy on themselves with a company that pays out super quick. They put $250 a month on it. It's $3,000 in premium commission dollars. They get the $3,000 and then they say, "Oh, I got 30 days to pick up my business and pay my bills and add another $250 a month in my bills," and they don't. And then all of a sudden the policy charges back, but they already got the money in their pocket and they're not answering your calls. That situation of chargebacks happens more and more with internal business than anything. So as a rule, to protect my VP's agencies and to protect the company, I don't allow agents to write their own business. Uplines write it. If you're going to get a policy on yourself or your immediate family, now I'm not talking cousins and brothers, and those are extended. You can write those up, but immediately under the roof, right? If you're going to write it, you're doing it because it's something you genuinely want, not because of the commission behind it. Does that make sense, what I just explained? Now, that's my preference. Every VP is entitled to have their own process, right? Why do I say it that way? Because at the end of the day, that chargeback is going to roll up to the VP before it rolls up to the company. So I leave that up to them. This is your business. How do you want to run it? And when you become a VP, you and I will have the same conversation. How do you want to run your business? Do you want to accept internal consumption? Do you not? Some companies won't even advance you in your own business. That's called the controlled business, just so you know. And let's be honest, if you're writing your own business, can you really be your own agent if you're the one that needs it? You know what I'm saying? It's beneficial, in my opinion, to have an upline or have a mentor do an analysis on you, because sometimes we don't want to look in the mirror and be real to ourselves with our own finances. but somebody else will. A third party will. Make sense? That's why. Which leads me into another topic I want to talk about, because this is one that's important to understand, because there's a reason and a rhyme behind it. Okay. If you're not at a VP level, right? So you're an associate, senior associate, or field manager. If you're at any of those levels, you're going to be direct to carrier on most of the companies, but some of them you won't. Some of them you're going to be what's called an LOA agent, which means the commissions will come to TKO, and then TKO will pay you. You're still fully vested. You have my word on that. It's your business, but the commission comes first to TKO before it comes to you, right? Now, which companies are those? The heavy hitter IUL companies, NLG, right? North American, Allianz, American National, right? So, you know, a handful of other ones. All the rest, more than likely, you're going to be direct to carrier, no problem. Now, does that mean you'll be that way forever? No. If you want to promote yourself out and become direct to carrier with every company across the board, every company, no matter what, here's what you need to do. 50,000 issue placed business within a 12-month rolling period, 85% persistency. You got to show us that you know how to write good business and keep good business on the books. Why? Let's use the same scenario that I just used. This agent is writing with all 5 companies, direct to carrier. He gets a chargeback with this one. He owes him money, but he's still making commissions on these companies, and these companies are paying him direct, and he doesn't want to pay off his debt, a debt that's going to roll up to the upline soon if he doesn't pay it. If this agent was an LOA agent, meaning commissions come to TKO first, what do you think TKO is going to do with these commissions? We're going to pay this chargeback off. We're going to zero this balance out, because the last thing I need is this to roll up to the upline, right? To roll up to the VP and then roll up to the company. We're going to pay this off before they get paid from any of these companies. That's the way we do it to protect. We want rookie. I don't want to say rookie. That's a bad term. We want, you know, agents that aren't necessarily running an agency, that are running high volume, that are still learning the business, to earn their way out to become a direct to carrier agent. You have no idea how many agents I've brought on board from FFL because of that. Because their downlines were direct to carrier with every company. Their downlines got a crap ton of chargebacks because they knew nothing of the industry. Their downlines didn't want to pay those chargebacks off. And all of a sudden, one day they log into their Americo contract, their Mutual of Omaha contract, and they owe $4,000. And they're like, wait, what? How do I owe it? Oh, well, you got 3 agents down here that owed money and they didn't pay it off. And we called them and nobody, they didn't answer our calls. And you're like, I didn't know that. Well, you don't get notifications because you're all direct. You're all independent. And so they got to pay that chargeback off. Then they got to chase the agent to see if they can cross their fingers and collect the money. And then they're like, I'm not doing this any longer. I'm not recruiting people and putting them all direct if I don't know that they know how to write good business. And so they come knocking on my door. That's why we do it that way. Any questions about that?
I love it. It's great. I need that protection.
Right?
So it's perfect. It is perfect. And I think everyone feels the same way about that.
Good.
There is a question in the chat box that says, so the book of business we have with the practice company carriers have to stay with the practice company, or do we have them stop paying the policy? They need to continue to pay their policy.
My advice to you is this: you're on a 2-year non-compete. Don't poke the bear. Okay. Let them pay those policies. Okay. Let them pay those policies. Now, if you resigned, if you remember PHP's rules, if you were a field associate for at least a year, okay, and you resigned from PHP, you're vested on your renewals. I'll give you full disclosure. I get a check from PHP every Friday. I still get a check from PHP every single Friday like clockwork. I was with them for 4.5 years. You know why? Because I resigned. I didn't get terminated. I resigned. Resignation means you send them an email and you request, hey, I'm leaving the company, blah, 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 blah. What they're going to do is they're going to make sure that you didn't contract with another company before you left them. If they check with the department of the state that you live in and they see that you got contracted with another company before you resigned, it's an automatic termination. So if you resign from the company, if you were a field associate with them or higher, and at least with them for a year, you're vested on your renewals and you're going to continue to receive them. I'm living proof. I still receive my renewals from 4.5 years worth of clients. It was close to 600 some odd clients that I wrote up. I still get my renewals. I still get my renewals from WFG. And that was 6 years ago. Okay. I never knew that. A lot of people don't. This is why this meeting to me is important. It's a boring meeting. Let's be honest. It's not like the rah, let me train you, show you how to make a lot of money. But these foundational principles and these rules are important to understand because you're in business. You got to know these things. Otherwise, you get a lot of people that end up coming on board and they're like, I didn't know that. You never told me you hustled me. No, wait a minute. Let's talk about these. Any questions? We're good. We're good. Okay. All right.
I just want to answer this one question.
Yes.
It says, yes, you have to be an FA for 1 year or more. Someone said you have to, yes, at the practice company, 1 year or more FA, that's in their contract.
Correct.
Then we get our renewals, and all of us have resigned appropriately. Okay.
Correct. Now, don't get me wrong. The email you get from them will say termination. But if you open up the PDF and you read it, you'll see that there's a difference between a resignation email and a termination email. There's a big difference. If they find out that you're recruiting at another organization before you resign, if they find out you're contracted with another company before you resign, that's automatic termination. You're relinquishing any renewals, any rights to any of that stuff. But if you resign, you're in good standings. You'll get your renewals. Okay. Cool. All right. Let me share with you
I have a
this last.
question.
Yes.
So I did my resignation letter and then I got the termination email.
Okay. So you want to read the letter and see what it says. See, I mean, they have to give you an explanation as to what it is that caused them to terminate. And it's usually one of the two. You're either going to see in the paperwork, it'll say you're recruiting at another multi-level operation or another marketing company, right? Or you were contracted with another carrier prior to termination with PHP. It'll give you the explanation. They'll tell you why.
Okay.
Mom, it just says termination in the subject that you resigned, and your letter states that it was in reply to your resignation. It's just titled as termination letter for you in the email. Your email, it states nothing like what he just mentioned it should. So you didn't get terminated. You did resign properly.
Okay.
There you go. That's what I was saying. The body of the email will say termination for whatever reason it does. I thought the same thing. But when you open up the PDF and you read it, the second paragraph, it'll tell you resignation. We're sorry to see you go. Or it'll say you're terminated because this is what you did. It'll say it in the body of the email. The body of the PDF letter. But the email will still say termination. They should fix that, but they haven't. Make sense? Cool. Okay. Let me give you a couple more resources. Somebody had a question? Okay. Let me give you a couple more and then we can finish off here. These are some important parts here, okay? So, TKO schedule right here. If you want access to our training schedule, you go right here to TKO schedule. You click TKO schedule. You notice here there's a password. You're going to grab it, right click, copy, go to TKO schedule, agent login, put that password in here. Bam. You're going to get access to 2 buttons. One button is access to my calendar if you need a one-on-one meeting with me, a 30-minute meeting with me, whatever you want. VPs and SVPs, if you'd like to have a button here with a link to your calendar, let me know. I can make that happen. I use a service called Calendly. There's a lot of other services similar to that. But this button right here to the right is our weekly schedule. Here, you can see our schedule. You can click on it and see what it is. Like this is general training. This is health insurance training. This is tax preparers training. This is credit repair training. This is Jarvis training. And if you click on it, you can also see there's the Zoom ID. So from a builder standpoint, it's pretty good to be able to give this tool to all of your agents, because how many times where your agent's messaging you, hey, what's the Zoom ID for the training? What's the Zoom ID? What's the Zoom ID? Now you just send them to the resource so they can get that information themselves. No problem. Okay. So that's that piece for scheduling. Here's the CRM. If you want to purchase leads, here's leads. If you want to run some quick quotes with some companies that you might not have contracts with, here's where you do that. Okay. Documents and resources. Let me close it off with this. Documents and resources. If you're a flip chart type person, you can go to documents and resources, and I have a lot of things, and I'm always updating it and adding things to it, just so you all know. I really am. But let's just say the presentations. You can go right here to presentations, and look what I have. I have a sales flip chart, a BOM flip chart, and a recruiting interview flip chart. So that if you want to see, hey, I'm going to do a sales presentation, you can click it, let it download, give it a minute, it takes a little bit. But what you end up having is a PDF. If you're still a face-to-face agent, you can print it, laminate it, use it as your flip chart. Or if you're a digital person, put it on an iPad or do it the way that I'm doing it now on a computer. But this is the part that I was saying, Victoria and Tabitha and Makisha, right? VPs and above. If you want to have this, but you don't want TKO's logo on there, you want your logo on there, right? You want Legendary Wealth Academy on there. My graphics designer, for I think one time she charges $200. She'll get you all of this all of this literature, the recruiting interview, the BOM, and this. Remove my logo, put yours on, change the color scheme around if you want, if it doesn't match whatever color logo you have. But here's my sales presentation. Services we offer, carriers we offer. Look, dime analysis, right? The 4 quadrants of wealth, which is a presentation I do for IULs. This is kind of like the hustle, right? Term insurance presentation, GUL insurance presentation, IUL presentation, final expense presentation, indexing, variable, fixed, right? IUL presentation. Look, tax now, tax later, tax advantage. It's all there for you to use. You know, here's my 401k presentation, my pension presentation, and I have videos how I present every one of these if you want. And even look, our credit repair builders presentation. I mean, it's all there for you to tap into inside of this, the documents and resources tab. Okay. And there's a lot of other resources there that you can tap into as well. And then lastly, you guys will like this. Let's see here. Let's go into, where is it? The hierarchy. Here it is. Genealogy. Licensed agents, you're going to get an invite to join this. You're going to download the application. It's called Pingboard. You have it on your phone, but you also can log in on your computer. You could see your entire organization. Matter of fact, you see the entire company and the whole company from the top down, right? So let's take a look at the company, right? Let's keep going for a little bit here. Let's find, who am I looking for? I think I know who I'm looking for. I'm looking for Victoria. Where are you, Victoria? Where are you? We've been growing, guys. These are all the licensed agents in the organization. So if you're not licensed, you won't be here. Victoria, there she is. Victoria's gone 9 wide. You want to see who they are? Click that button and bam, there they are. There's her 9. Right? Then you got Tabitha. Right? That's she's direct to Victoria. Tabitha's gone 4 wide. You got Makisha. Makisha's gone 5 wide. Nigel's gone 2 wide. You get what I'm saying? See how it kind of opens up and turns into this pretty cool org chart. You can click on the person. They would have, hopefully, if they've done everything, they uploaded their picture, right? They can do a little bio on themselves. There's her email. There's her phone number. From the phone app, you can click on that right there and call them right there on your phone. You could see what contract level they're at, right? You could see a lot of information there. She's a senior vice president, right? Then you got Valerie right here. She's a senior associate. There's the contact info. You see upline, downline, sidelines, full transparency in your business, which is something that I have yet to come across an independent platform that offers this type of transparency and clarity. They just quite frankly don't invest into these types of things. So I encourage you, there's more stuff in the website. I encourage you, browse through it. but that's kind of like the most important fundamental things that you want to make sure you have access to. Questions? Victoria, I'm so glad that you love it. You and I think a lot alike. I'm excited to see what we're going to do this year together.
We just appreciate you so much for just taking the time out and just, pouring into us. We really, really appreciate it. And it was what we needed, what we all needed. I'm just, you all, I am so excited. I feel like I'm at home and I haven't felt like that in a long time. So I appreciate it. It just feels so good. So good.
I'm happy.
So thank you
Very,
all
very happy.
so much. Oh, thank you, Tony.
Question, Tony.
Yes, ma'am.
I know I saw where it said that the email that we register with, is there any way that I could change that
The email you register for your what? Your what?
when we signed up? Because I used the email when I signed up, but that's not the email that I want to use.
Is it? But
But
is
I
it?
saw that it's.
Yeah, yeah. Are you talking about when you in the enrollment form?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, reach out to
Yeah.
Sandra. Reach out to Sandra and give her your updated email, and she'll update it on Pingboard. She'll update it. She'll update it wherever you need it to be updated. If you had a different email for the website, just re-enroll to the website with your new email. Make sure Sandra knows it, because Sandra's the one that hits the approve button on the emails. I'm sorry, on the website.
Okay.
Right? No problem. That's not a problem at all.
So we want a part 2 of orientation.
Yes.
So if we can do next week sometime, we'll book it on your schedule. We definitely want, I think everyone will have like their writing. We're working diligently this week to make sure that everything is in for licensing and contracting. And then next week, I think we all will be in the position to do part 2. And
Okay.
part 2 will involve more writing and right.
Correct.
Okay.
We
And then
go
his training
over.
guys are on. Go ahead.
We go over how to run quotes. We go over how to submit business. We go over everything that has to do with writing business as an agent that doesn't have writing numbers just yet. That way you feel like you can get off the ground fast while you're waiting for your writing numbers to come in.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome. Monday and Saturdays are the only 2 days for training, but we're going to do that extra orientation. So thank you all so much. Thank you, Tony. We truly appreciate it. And we are going to be a huge part of that 10 million if we don't all supersede that. So I'm excited to just be a part of it. I really am. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Not a problem. I'll close off with this, guys. January 29th is our Closers College. I do that once a month. Don't miss it. It's going to be a big one. I do need you to enroll. And if you're not going to attend, I still need you to do that. You're going to go into the website under Closers College, and you'll see that there's a check-in button, and you got to let me know, are you coming? Yes or no? You got to let me know if you're coming. Are you going to come virtual or are you coming face-to-face? I highly, highly, highly encourage every one of y'all to take the investment into yourself and come face-to-face. I do have Forrester's representatives physically coming to do a training on their product line, their simplified plan, their e-app process. I have Ace Financial coming. Marianne, the owner of the IMO, as I said to you, she's gonna stop in for a little bit because she lives in that town as well too, to do a presentation. There's discounted pricing on the hotels, and I'm gonna be doing a 3 to 4 hour clinic. We're gonna dig deep into it, where you're gonna learn how to run quotes, you're gonna learn how to run a field meeting, you're gonna learn how to objection handle, you're gonna learn how to get on the phones, everything. It's well worth it. It's a lot of substance. And the goal is for you to be able to walk away and go, okay, I feel pretty confident in these companies, and I'm ready to go out and write business. That's the 29th. You can go, like I said, go into the website, hit the Closers College tab, and all the information is there with address, times, agenda, and registration. Cool. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You all, I'm working diligently to try to go in person. It's like every day I'm working diligently. So I would love to have some of you with me. I'm a COVID person. I don't like COVID, but I've been many places where, you know, we were just taking care of ourselves, masked up and all that kind of good stuff. So I'm going, I'm working on going, but do register regardless. And you all should see that in our group meeting. Okay. So
I
thank you, Penny.
did
Uh-huh.
virtually, but I was wondering, like, where's it gonna be at? Is it, because I'm in West Virginia, so I mean, if it's not too far, I can drive.
It's in Fort Myers, Florida. Fort Myers, Florida, which is Southwest Florida. And like I said, if you all go into the TKO website, you log in, go to the Closers College tab, you'll see the agenda, the location, the address. You'll even see how to register for the hotel with the discount. Everything is there.
So since I already registered virtual, if I decided to go in person, do I have to change? How would I change that?
Just tell Sandra and we'll update it on our side. Just tell Sandra you're coming, okay? Yeah,
Thank
Fort
you.
Myers is beautiful. You're right about that. All right. Victoria, for the sake of the fact that there's a lot of people here from Practice Company, I'm gonna upload this YouTube video, but I'm gonna make it a link that a video you can only see if you physically share the link with them, okay? So once I get it uploaded and give it its privacy notifications, I'll send it to you. And guys, I say that because you're not doing anything wrong by making the decision, but you also don't want to poke the bear. You get what I'm saying? There's no sense in going out there, creating a lot of noise, creating a lot of fuss. Oh, this is what I did. This is what I did. Like, you know, you don't want to act like the upset ex-girlfriend that's on social media bashing everything under the sun. You know, we all signed the contract, whether we knew we did or whether we didn't. We want to try to oblige by it, but we also want to do what's right for ourselves. And so I want to make sure you guys don't get any backlash for anything like that. So I'll upload the video, and the only way you can see that video is through the link that Victoria will send you guys. Cool.
Thank you, Tony.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Thank you, Tom.
You're welcome.